My daughter filmed my coma in the ICU and shared it online, turning my near-death crisis into viral content. Can we ever repair our betrayed family bonds? I woke to a world of buzzing monitors and muffled alarms, every pulse of light on the machines an echo of my own ragged heartbeat. My name is Marisol Vega. I'm 42 years old, and I live in the cramped warmth of a second-floor apartment in Dallas, Texas. I've never been here before. Not really. Yet now I hover between awareness and oblivion, suspended on tubes and wires. My eyes remain shut, but I feel everything. The sharp sting of dryness on my lips, the cold weight of a hospital blanket across my chest, and the relentless thrum of beeps that count out my fragile breaths. Some part of me recalls the morning that brought me here. I remember the sharp crack of our argument, my voice rising as I told my daughter she couldn't spend another night sneaking out. She said I didn't understand her, that I was suffocating her life. I remember the door slamming shut behind her teenage rebellion, the hollow echo of my own loneliness filling the empty hallway. Now, pain radiates behind my closed eyelids, like distant thunder rolling through my skull. I drift in and out of consciousness, each time slipping back into a darker place where memories blur into half-remembered dreams. I can feel the ebb and flow of sedation, moments of lucidity where I strain to move my fingers, to open my eyes, to call her name, but my body refuses to obey. Somewhere nearby, a soft glow pulses in the dim room. I sense it more than see it. A small smartphone, its screen alight like a single moth drawn to electric warmth. I can almost hear the subtle hum of the device as someone holds it just beyond my face, fingers tapping to switch angles, framing my pale cheek and the ventilator tube curving into my throat. I wonder if it's my daughter. Her voice is too distant to recognize, but I feel her presence in the air, equal parts curiosity and something darker. I try to will myself fully awake, to rip that phone from whoever holds it, to demand they stop recording. But each breath feels like inhaling thick fog, and the machines keep me afloat when I almost let go. My heart hammers inside me, begging for release, for one chance to speak, to warn her. In the hush of the ICU, each beep feels like a countdown. I remember the last words I spoke to her. "You're tearing us apart." Would she hear me now, even if I could speak? My chest tightens as fear creeps in, fear of what I'm not allowed to stop, fear of the story she's already begun to tell without me. Then the phone's light flickers again, and I feel it, an ominous flicker that crawls beneath my skin. I'm trapped between the slow drip of Roman 4 and the rapid pace of her camera's record light. And I know, even before the darkness reclaims me, that this silent warning might be the only chance I get to speak. The first thing I register is the flash of a phone screen, too bright, slicing through my half-dreams like a blade. I want to recoil, but my head lies heavy against the pillow, unable to turn. Through my foggy haze, I recognize her silhouette. My daughter, Emma, dressed in green scrubs far too big for her, her forced smile tighter than any hospital gown. She angles the camera to catch my pale cheek and the ventilator tube arching into my throat. "Hey, guys," she whispers, voice lilting with mock sympathy. "Look who decided to take a little nap on us." The word dramatic dances in her tone, slick as spilled serum. She pans upward to the Roman 4 stand, rattling with drip and suture lines, then back to my still face. Seriously, can't she just wake up already? This is like the world's slowest reaction video. My heart shudders in my chest at the cruelty woven into her laughter. In my mind, I reach out, fingertips brushing against the edge of consciousness, begging to move, to slap the phone from her hand. But sedation pins me in place, every muscle unmoving as though I'm buried alive beneath my own skin. Her thumb scrolls, taps, likes, shares, each flicker of the screen a reminder that she's performing for strangers, not caring that I'm here, listening. She blurts, "If she wakes before 1,000 likes, I'll let her pick her own ice cream flavor," and laughs at her own joke. The monitor beeps in steady protest, each tone a silent plea for compassion. I sense a shift outside the room, a hushed murmur of footsteps. A nurse steps through the doorway, eyes narrowing as they meet Emma's phone lifted high. My daughter glances back, sees the slight furrow between the nurse's brows, and swallows. For a moment, I imagine relief, but she shrugs and turns back to me. "Don't mind Nurse Jenkins," she says, voice low and playful. "She hates fun." The nurse hesitates, gaze flicking from my still form to the screen illuminating Emma's face in harsh blue light. You can almost hear the question forming, and almost see it die on her lips. Instead, she steps to the side, biting the inside of her cheek, and crosses her arms. My chest tightens at their silent standoff, their opposing loyalties playing out in the stale ICU air. Emma presses record again, capturing the nurse's disapproval like a trophy. "Oops," she whispers. "Did I scare our friendly neighborhood lifesaver?" She wiggles her eyebrows for the camera, and a cruel sparkle glints in her eyes. The nurse stares at her daughter's shameless performance, then looks away, unwilling, or perhaps unprepared, to break protocol. Beneath it all, I'm sinking deeper into a haze where memory and reality blur. I remember Emma at 6, perched on my lap as I read her "Good Night, Moon." I remember brushing a stray hair from her forehead when she skinned her knee on that rusted swing in the backyard. Now those memories twist into something grotesque. The child I once cradled is staging a grotesque spectacle over my broken body. My breath hitches at the thought, but the machine keeps me alive, relentless and unfeeling. Emma's laughter echoes in my skull, and I wonder if she'll ever understand the ransom she's placed on my life, views in exchange for my dignity. Then the phone's battery warning icon blinks into view, and Emma's eyes dart downward. She shrugs and taps at the screen once more. "Almost had it," she murmurs. "Just a few more takes." I strain to scream, but only muffled silence answers, and as the phone lingers above me, recording every second of my helplessness, I know this is far from over. Notification chimes cut through the fog of my sedation, each ping a sharpened blade against my dulled senses. I lie motionless, but the bleeps and bloops of the monitors now mix with the staccato rhythm of incoming alerts. Likes, shares, comments, feeding an insatiable hunger for voyeurism just beyond my reach. Through my half-dream, I sense the room's door swing open. My husband, Carlos, strides in, cell phone buzzing in his hand like a live grenade. His eyes are wide with disbelief as he stares down at the screen, scrolling through the video Emma posted hours ago. Marisol's reaction to ICU life. The title reads in bold letters, overlaid with sensational emojis. My chest tightens as Carlos's fingers swipe past cruel captions. Wake-up call, mom's dramatic entrance, and every swipe seems to steal a breath I'm struggling to take. Carlos turns away, voice cracked and low. "Emma, what the hell is this?" He roars down the hallway, not quite able to contain his fury. I hear Emma's footsteps behind him, hesitant at first, then resolute. They meet halfway outside my room, voices bouncing off the sterile walls. "Dad, chill," Emma begins, shrugging as though drifting currents could wash away her guilt. Her tone is flippant, but I detect the tremor in her voice, small and human. "Chill," Carlos's laugh is bitter. "You filmed her like she was some sideshow attraction. Do you even care she might not wake up?" His hand trembles as he lifts the phone between them, the screen's glow painting both their faces in harsh whites and blues. Emma's shoulders slump. She glances down the hall at the nurse's station, then back to the phone. "Everyone loves drama, Dad." "It's just content." "Content?" Carlos spits the word like a curse. "She's your mother." His eyes fill with tears as he lowers the phone. "Do you even remember what that means?" Emma's gaze flickers, shame and defiance warring in her dark eyes. She tucks a strand of hair behind her ear, a gesture I remember from years ago when she was just a girl plagued by shyness. Now she flinches under her father's hurt stare, blinking rapidly. A nurse's voice interrupts, soft but firm. "Mr. Vega, your wife's vitals are changing. I need you to come back inside." Carlos grips Emma's arm as though to steady himself. She stands frozen, the phone still clutched in her hand, screen lit with the comments rolling faster than she can read them. I feel a pang of sorrow so sharp it steals my breath. In the bed behind them, the ventilator hisses with my own labored breathing. I want to warn them, tell Emma that every notification is a cry for mercy. But I'm trapped, disembodied, an unwilling spectator to my own life unspooling online. Carlos re-enters my room, his presence a tidal wave of relief and fear. He tucks the phone into his pocket, avoiding Emma's eyes, then presses a hand to my palm. I sense his warmth, love, regret. "I'm sorry, my Amber," he whispers, voice thick. "I'll make her stop." But the alerts don't. They keep coming, each chime a reminder that this isn't over. Emma stands by the door, the glow of her phone dim against the glare of guilt in her eyes. My breath catches at the thought that she's not just filming me, she's filming us, our family collapsing under the weight of her actions. I drift closer to consciousness, driven by a surge of desperation. I need to wake up to plead with her, to demand she erase this atrocity before it devours us whole. The alarms around me rise in pitch, echoing the frantic rhythm of my heart. And in that charged silence before chaos returns, I realize the hardest battle lies ahead, one I'll have to fight with every ounce of strength left in my broken body. A new alert pings on Emma's phone, its tone too familiar, and my head snaps toward her silhouette at the door, blinking in the pale hallway light. What fresh cruelty awaits on that screen? The darkness around me blossoms into color, then fractures into memories that pulse through my mind like fever dreams. I'm 6 again, perched on Emma's toddler bed, her tiny hand closed around my finger as I whisper the end of "Good night, moon." The kitchen glows golden with afternoon sunlight. She giggles when I pretend the moon is hiding behind the oven, but the warmth twists, and I'm suddenly back in the ICU, the same golden light replaced by fluorescent glare. In this fractured space, childhood laughter echoes off metal rails, morphing into the dull beep of my heart monitor. I reach for Emma's hand, but where she once grasped me, there's only the cold emptiness of a hospital chair. Across this mental divide, I glimpse her, older, taller, her face unfamiliar in its cruelty. She leans in close, phone raised like a weapon, capturing my broken silence. The voice in my head, The one that used to whisper, "I love you," after every bedtime story now whispers, "Wake up, fight." It echoes through the haze, stronger than sedation, mounting like wildfire in my chest. A new memory flares. Emma apologizing after breaking my favorite mug, tears streaming as she begged forgiveness. I had wrapped her in my arms, telling her mistakes make us human. Now that same daughter sits across from me, screen glowing, her apology trapped in pixels nobody will ever see. The monitor's beep morphs into a mocking countdown, each pulse a merciless reminder that time is slipping. My fingers twitch under the sheet, but my will outruns my body. Pain fractures through my limbs, but I cling to the thought of Emma as she once was, vulnerable, innocent, deserving of love, not spectacle. Footsteps approach down the hallway, soft and steady. I sense the nurse's shadow loom at the doorframe, the same one who hesitated before. She pauses, eyes full of conflict. Part of me pleads for her to save me, to tear that phone from Emma's grip. Another part knows no one can do this for me. I must pull myself back from the edge alone. The nurse steps away, footsteps fading, and I'm left suspended between two worlds. One foot in childhood memory, the other trapped in a merciless present. A final whisper flits through my mind, urging me to break free. "You're stronger than this. Wake up." The veil begins to lift, and I teeter on the brink of awareness. My chest tightens as I inhale, fighting for the breath that might carry me back. The monitor's beep slows, then stutters. I taste metal on my tongue, feel the first spark of resistance in my limbs. And just as the haze begins to clear, the door clicks open again, and I know I'm not ready for what's waiting on the other side. The world outside my room has shifted into something alien, an endless scroll of outrage and fascination I can nearly taste in the stale ICU air. I hover at the edge of awareness, hearing snatches of the chaos my daughter unleashed online. In the hallway, muted televisions broadcast clips from local news. Teens shocking ICU prank, viral hospital stunt, mother in coma. Their voices bleed through the door like static, overlaid with the thumping pulse of licensed urgent music. Comments cascade through my mind, too fast to grasp fully, but I catch fragments. "She's lucky to wake up. Does she deserve sympathy? What a terrible mother." Each phrase lands like a stone against my ribs, crushing any fragile hope I cling to. I sense them reaching for me. Influencers duping my image into dramatic slow motion, TikTokers remixing Emma's cruel quips into dark memes. Some videos end with "follow for part 2, as though my life is nothing but an episodic horror show. Half awake, I feel my pulse pound in time with the relentless beat of digital bloodlust. The ventilator hisses in protest at my gasps. The Roman IV drip rattles its chain of beads like a metronome in a haunted house. I remember Emma's triumphant grin as she watched her like count climb, then the flicker of doubt when she saw the darker side of the comments. Threats, denunciations, even death wishes. Down the corridor, I hear her laugh again, shaky this time, then a choked sob. My heart stutters at the sound, mixing relief with dread. She's there, leaning against the nurse's station, eyes glued to her phone as notifications flood in faster than she can read them. I wish I could call out her name, warn her that every new share sinks us deeper into public judgment. But all I manage is a soft rasp, swallowed by the roar of social media frenzy. Moments later, the door swings open and Emma slips inside, phone still in hand. Her face is pale, lit by the screen's cold glow. "Mom," she whispers, voice trembling. She taps the phone and the notifications scroll by like an avalanche, over 1 million views now, hundreds of thousands of comments. She swallows. "Everyone's talking about you," she says, as though these strangers know me better than her own mother. I force my eyes open, the monitors spiking in response. The alarms shout at the nurse who rushes in. Emma drops her phone to catch my gaze. In that instant, everything, every cruel remix and sensational headline, coalesces into a single truth. The digital world is a hungry beast and we are its prey. I stare at Emma, my voice barely more than a breath. "Make them stop." Her phone drifts in slow motion toward the floor. The screen fractures across her reflection, and I brace myself for the fallout, knowing there's no turning back from what we've unleashed. I'm drowning in darkness, until my fingers twitch, and the world jolts back like a camera snap. Alarms erupt in a cacophony as my heart monitor spikes, drawing a swarm of nurses through the door. Tubes tug, hands press, and bright lights glint off metal tools hustled into place. Panic surges through me, every nerve ignited by the urgent chaos. I suck in a ragged breath, lungs on fire as the ventilator hisses and nurses yell, "She's coming back! Keep her airway clear!" Through the blur, I catch Emma's face, eyes wide and glassy, the phone sliding from her fingers with a soft clack against the linoleum. Her mouth works soundlessly, as though she's forgotten how to speak. My vision swims, but there's no mistaking the flood of emotion there. Fear, guilt, relief. "Mom," she murmurs, voice shaking on the verge of tears. I taste metal on my tongue, but force the syllable out. "Emma!" It comes out a rasp, but it's enough. The room closes in, family and staff converging in a whirlwind of white coats and whispered prayers. Carlos lunges forward, clutching my hand, tears streaming down his cheeks. I feel his warmth, his steady heartbeat, and for a fleeting second the world narrows to his love. But then Emma's voice cracks through the commotion. I'm so sorry, Mom. She kneels beside me, face inches from my own, eyes blazing with remorse. Beneath her tears, I glimpse the bend of her spine, slumped, defeated, as though the weight of her actions has finally crushed her. I force my head to turn, and my gaze lands on the phone, lying open-faced on the floor. The screen still displays the count. Over 2 million views, thousands of fresh comments flooding in. My breath catches at the sight, proof that even as I fought to return, the world continued devouring me. Through my fevered mind, I gather enough clarity to demand. Delete it. Emma's trembling hand hovers over the screen. Her thumb swipes and the app shudders to a halt. The video vanishes, replaced by her empty profile page. The nurse beside us exhales in relief, but Emma doesn't look up, her gaze locked on the blank screen as though it might swallow her whole. I close my eyes, exhaustion pulling at my bones, but one thought ignites in my chest: boundaries. No more, I rasp, voice stronger now. You don't record me ever. She nods, tears spilling freely. I understand, she whispers. I promise. Carlos presses a kiss to my forehead, and I feel the tension in his shoulders ease. The room's frantic pulse dulls to the steady beep of my monitor. Outside, the hallway is silent again, the storm momentarily stilled. I drift back toward sleep, but before darkness claims me, I catch Emma's silhouette in the doorway, phone gone, shoulders squared. For the first time in days, I see her not as the architect of my humiliation, but as the child I once held, scared and sorry. And in that fragile moment, I realize that waking up isn't enough. I still have to decide how to live. But as my eyelids flutter closed and the world fades, one question lingers. Will our family ever heal from this breach of trust? I wake to muted sunlight filtering through the blinds, painting pale stripes across the hospital room floor. My body aches in places I'd forgotten could hurt, but the pain is a reminder I'm alive, and that I still have a story worth telling. Emma sits in the corner, back hunched over a sketchpad she's never used before, pencils scratching out shapes I can't quite decipher. The phone that once stole my dignity lies shut and locked in her purse on the windowsill, its presence reduced to a silent monument of our shared shame. She glances up when I open my eyes, her shoulders tense as if bracing for anger I no longer feel. Instead, I offer the smallest of smiles and pat the space beside me. She moves closer, soft footsteps muffled against the sterile linoleum. Therapy starts in an hour, she whispers, voice thick with regret. I nod, careful not to jolt the Roman 4 line, and let her hand rest against mine, an olive branch neither of us is sure we deserve. The hours stretch between us, filled with the gentle clang of carts and distant echoes of visitors. Nurses greet Emma with cautious nods. Some still recall the phone in her hand, others seem to have forgotten this was ever a spectacle. I sense their lingering hesitation, as though they're unsure whether to treat me as patient or as collateral damage in a viral show. But when the physical therapist arrives, her approach is matter-of-fact. Ready to stand, she asks. Emma stands behind me, supportive hand steady at my elbow. With every shaky step, I feel years slip away, from the moment Emma pointed that camera at me to now, when she's helping me reclaim my strength. My legs tremble, but I focus on her face. The way her brow knits in concentration, the quick flicker of pride when I take 2 steps unassisted. We don't speak, words feel too uncertain. Instead, our progress is measured in inches, each footfall a silent apology turned promise. Later, when the therapist leaves, Emma and I sit on the edge of my bed. I reach out and take her sketchpad, flipping through pages of abstract lines. What is this? I ask gently. She bites her lip and turns the pad to show me, drawings of broken screens mended by thread, hearts laced together with digital code. I recognize the symbolism, the fragility of trust, the tangled threads we still have to untangle. She's hoping we can stitch something stronger, I murmur, and Emma's eyes well with tears. She nods, running a finger along a thread that loops around a cracked heart. I'm trying, she says. I know sorry isn't enough. I squeeze her hand, letting her words sink into the hollow places in my chest. Then let's try together, I reply, voice steady. Friends and family trickle into the room over the next few days, some offering awkward smiles, others lingering in the doorway before disappearing. Their hesitations echo the uncertainty Emma and I feel. But when my sister places a folded quilt at my foot, stitched with bright fabric that reads, "Family First," I let the weight of their support anchor me. This moment isn't about forgiveness granted quickly. It's about the willingness to stay, to show up, even when the wounds are fresh. That evening, as the corridor lights dim, Emma sits beside me with her purse open. She withdraws the phone, flips it over, and places it in a sealed envelope. I'm giving this to security, she says. No more chance of temptation. I nod, relief washing through me like a cool wave. The envelope rests between us, a tangible boundary we both agree to respect. I close my eyes and feel the rhythm of my own heartbeat, unaccompanied now by the clamor of notifications. In its place is a quieter hope, one built on honest conversation, shared responsibility, and the slow rebuilding of trust. My body is still bruised, my heart still tender, but for the first time since the accident, I glimpse a future defined not by viral moments, but by the simple act of healing together. As the lights dim further, I open my eyes to find Emma's silhouette framed in the doorway, phone gone, purse carried firmly at her side. I offer her a tentative smile, and she returns it, a flicker of the daughter I remember shining through. Tomorrow, we begin anew. But for tonight, I let the silence speak, and I wonder, can broken hearts and broken pixels ever fully mend once we learn to stitch them with honesty? The click of the front door closing behind us echoes in my living room, empty now of hospital machines, but still heavy with unsaid words. Weeks have passed since I left that ICU bed. My body is weaker, but my mind feels sharper, keyed to every unspoken tension between Emma and me. I settle onto the couch, its cushions sagging like tired shoulders, and pull my phone from the coffee table. It's unlocked, but I refuse to open it. Instead, I scroll through the messages Emma sent me in private, some genuine apologies, other self-congratulatory notes about subscriber growth she now regrets. The kindness in a few words makes me ache, the rest feel like shards of glass in my hand. I delete the insincere ones, leaving only those that carry real remorse. I was wrong. I understand now. I'm here for you always. Emma stands by the window, phone in trembling hands, sunlight flickering off the screen. She turns, and I see the question in her eyes before she even speaks. Mom, what did going viral cost us? I take a breath and push the phone toward her. It cost us trust, I say softly. It cost us privacy, dignity. It cost me peace of mind when I needed healing most. My voice cracks, but I press on. But it also taught us something, that the world outside can't define who we are inside. She steps forward, closing the distance between us, and places her hand over mine on the phone. I'm sorry for causing you pain, she whispers. And for forgetting the person you are beyond the screen. I nod and guide her phone into my hand. No devices at the hospital, I remind her, echoing our pact. And no posting anything about me, no matter what. She swallows, eyes shining. I promise. Silence stretches between us, full of possibility and fear. Outside, cars pass on the street, indifferent engines humming their daily rhythms. The world hasn't stopped scrolling, but here in this quiet room, we're making our own story. We sit side by side, phone locked away, and talk for the first time in months. She tells me about her dreams of studying film, how the rush of attention tempted her into reckless choices. I tell her about the fear I felt, trapped in my own body while strangers gawked at my suffering. We share tears and laughter, stumbling through honesty like blindfolded dancers finding each other's steps. Later, Emma brings out 2 mugs of tea, steam curling between us. I lift mine and see the reflection of her face in the liquid, soft, contrite, hopeful. I raise my mug. To boundaries, I say. She clinks hers against mine. And to second chances, she replies. The afternoon light deepens beyond the window, and I wonder if forgiveness can ever fully erase what happened. But as Emma's steady presence anchors me, I realize healing is not about wiping the slate clean. It's about learning to write new lines over the scars. When the last drop of tea warms my stomach, I set the mug aside and lean back, feeling the couch cushion cradle me. Emma flops down beside me, phone still buried in my drawer, and rests her head on my shoulder. I close my eyes, heart slowing to a peaceful rhythm unbroken by beeps or notifications. The world outside will keep spinning, hungry for its next viral fix. But here, in the hush of our living room, we've reclaimed our story. And though the road ahead will be long, I carry one unwavering truth. No algorithm, no count of views or likes, can ever replace the fragile, essential bond between a mother and her daughter.